Hey everybody, I am David, and today I want to talk about my top 10 favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Steven Spielberg is a top-class director, probably a legendary director for a lot of people, including myself. He's directed some of our favorite childhood films while we were growing up. He's made movies all over the place for many different generations since the mid-70s, I guess you can say, with one of his biggest blockbusters, which I don't want to say because it is in my top 10. So let's get right into this. What are my top 10 favorite Spielberg movies? And just remember, guys, if you don't agree with me, don't get mad or anything. Just comment below and leave your top 10 Spielberg movies. We all have our different favorite films for different reasons, so go ahead and comment below. So I'm going to start off with my number 10, which might surprise a lot of people. I have Hook from 1991. This stars Robin Williams as Peter Pan, Dustin Hoffman as Captain Hook, Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell, and the late Bob Hoskins plays Mr. Smee. And this is a movie that I really love. It tears me up. A lot of Spielberg movies, I bet, tear people up. And this is one of them for me. I love it. I think it's a great family film and really got me invested in the mythology of Peter Pan and who he is, and raised an interesting question. What would happen if Peter Pan grew up? The story that all kids know when they're young. You know, you've probably seen the Disney version, the animated film of Peter Pan from 1953. And the idea of Peter Pan growing up is just like a bizarre idea, but a great idea story-wise. And it's a movie that I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of, personally, because I think you can make it a whole lot better than what it actually is. I still love this movie, but I do see issues with it that some people might pick at, in terms of the story and plot holes, etc. But for the most part, it is a really fun film, and it is great to see Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams go at it as those two characters, along with the supporting cast of characters. I think Julia Roberts is great in this movie too, as well. Like I said, Bob Hoskins as Mr. Smee is a delight, and people don't probably remember this. Maggie Smith, she doesn't get a lot of credit, but she plays an older Wendy, a Wendy who's like 100 years old by this point. And this movie made me wonder when I saw her in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the Harry Potter franchise. She played a Professor McGonagall. I thought, man, how old is this woman? She's like a billion years old, and she's not that old. But this movie, Hook, because it was in 1991, 10 years before she was in the Harry Potter franchise, I did have to question her age and how old she was, because I was like, man, this lady, she feels like she's in her thousands already, and she's still kicking around. So, yeah, not that I want her to go away. I think she's a fabulous actress, and she was really great in this movie as well. There are some great moments with Wendy and Peter that I really enjoy, that give me the chills and teary moments. So, next on my list, I have Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I'm happy to report Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did not make my list, even though I do not hate that movie like other people seem to. But there was a point in my life where I did consider Kingdom of the Crystal Skull better than Temple of Doom, where I forced myself to believe that. And that was early on, after I was drinking the Kool-Aid, as some people would say. And finally I realized, no, Temple of Doom is better. A lot better. So it's not the best of the franchise, obviously, but it's not the worst, and that's a good thing. Yeah, maybe Spielberg and Lucas went a little bit too dark with it, a little bit too out there with the voodoo stuff. But for the most part, I thought it was fine. And you know what? A lot of people hate on Kate Capshaw as Willie, as the most annoying of the female of the women leads in these Indiana Jones films. And I'm going to say, that's what makes her work in this movie. I think she's funny in this movie. I think you need her to be like that in order for Indy to get annoyed. And I feel like people are like, they hate her because she's like that, but that was the whole point of her being annoying, because they point that out in the film that she is annoying, and it was supposed to play for laughs. Maybe some people just didn't like that type of humor, but I thought it worked great with the film and gave us some gave me some funny moments throughout the movie. Next on my list, I have Catch Me If You Can. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks. This was made to be a success. Plus, you got Spielberg. It was something very different at the time for Spielberg. This drama with this police officer, the FBI going after this crook. And I actually got on the train late on this one. I didn't see it right away. I saw it like a couple, maybe 2006, 2000, like 3-4 years after it had come out. And I'm sad that I wasn't on, because I hated Leonardo DiCaprio during that time. I didn't, not hate, but I didn't like him because of the whole Titanic phase. And it must have been later. It was after Shutter Island for sure. So around 2009, 2010, when Leo was starting to get redeemed, that's when I went back and checked it out, and I actually ended up really enjoying the movie a lot. Next on my list, I have E.T. the Extraterrestrial. You guys, if you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. It's a heartwarming film, a classic throughout the ages, in my opinion. I remember watching this movie so many times when I was a kid. It's a creepy movie. It is pretty creepy at times. Maybe if you have a kid that's 4 years old, maybe that's too young for this kid. But maybe a kid like more in his 7-8 years old. I think it's a good movie to check out around that age. E.T. is a little creepy, and there are some creepy ass moments, but it's a movie that I think a lot of people hold dear for a reason. Even Spielberg himself holds it dear to his heart. So this is definitely a movie worth checking out, and it's one of those extraterrestrial films that, like, I want other movies about aliens to try to match it, because we always get the aliens coming and invading Earth and people have to fend it off, but we never get an alien movie like this that's like warm at heart, that has that Stranger Things vibe. I think Stranger Things is the closest thing to it right now, and maybe that's why a lot of people really love it, because we actually get it. Even though Elle isn't really an alien, she's kind of like that paranormal type of character, which is what E.T. is. And to see that bond with a kid was really relatable back in the day, because you could put yourself in the Elliot role. Another movie I have on my list, Jaws, I have at number 6. Jaws, I didn't appreciate this movie when I was younger because it was probably a horror and I didn't pay attention to it very well. But as I got older, into my teen years, I rewatched Jaws when it would air on cable, and I really started to like it a lot. My mom, I know, won't watch this movie because of the fear of sharks in the water. I'm like, I can separate fantasy and reality, and the reality is, if a shark comes to you, it's only because they think you're food, and most likely they probably let you go, but they'll injure you very badly. Jaws is not a real shark. There's no shark that... Well, okay, there have been incidents of sharks killing people, but look, let's not go there. This is a cool movie about a giant shark that's terrorizing people, and I love it. It's one of those monster movies that really kind of sets up the future of Spielberg making some great monster movies, as we'll get to right now, because my 5th most favorite movie of Spielberg is one that a lot of people will be shocked about: The Lost World, Jurassic Park. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. I love this one. I think it's an underrated Spielberg film. I know a lot of people say, oh, after the first one, that's it. Nobody likes The Lost World. I disagree. I think The Lost World is a worthy sequel to Jurassic Park. I like it better even than Jurassic World, which a lot of people will say now, oh, that's the second best one. Why? Because it's lighter and more fun? No, the Lost World was more fun. It took... A lot of people I've been hearing nowadays like complain about the dinosaur in the city. I wanted that. I wanted to see the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the city. I don't care if it's a Godzilla ripoff. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see raptors in the city as well. That never happened. So I'll settle with just a T-Rex. But look, Vince Vaughn, he's a serious actor in this movie. And it's weird always seeing that in this one. I like that Ian Malcolm is put front and center, and he's a more serious character. Even though I love his kookiness in the first one, I do like his character in this one too. How the events of the first movie put him in this position now. Next on my list at number 4, I have Saving Private Ryan, Academy Award winning film. Now I'm gonna admit this: I don't have Schindler's List on this list. Because I have never seen Schindler's List fully. So I didn't think it was fair for me to put this on the list or compare it to the rest of these films. One day I will get to Schindler's List. I just know it's a depressing film, and I don't want to go through that. I want to watch movies that make me happy. But hey, here's a very artsy film from Spielberg, Saving Private Ryan. It's not that artsy. There's some really cool action sequences, but not like... Anyways, you know what I mean. It's a really good war movie. I'm going to put it that way. And Tom Hanks is great in it, so there you go. Next on my list, the top 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark. What more can you say? It's Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. This is the one after he came from Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. He did this one right after. And it's a great movie. It's a great movie, guys. And you can't deny that. What makes it even more cooler nowadays is knowing that the villain who plays Belloc later on goes on to play Ivan Ooze in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, a guilty pleasure movie of mine. I just wanted to point that out. But for the most part, yes, this is a great adventure action film, and it has stood the test of time, and definitely one of Spielberg's greats. So there we go. And now, going on to my number 2 favorite Spielberg film of all time, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's right, I'm one of those people that will put the Last Crusade over Raiders of the Lost Ark. I know some people switch on those two. I'm on the Last Crusade side. I think the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery in this movie is fantastic. I think the woman character, the female character, is a great character. How she starts off as the love interest, and then there's the twist where it turns out, oh, she's the villain. You shouldn't have trusted her. I think that's great. I love that it went back to the Nazis. Funny enough, the 2 Indiana Jones movies have the Nazis as the villains. I think they were great as villains during dark times for Indiana Jones, which is funny because Temple of Doom was the darkest, and that did not have Nazis. But yeah, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, it's a more fun film compared to the first 2 movies. But I think that's what makes it enjoyable, is Sean Connery and Harrison Ford's father-son dynamic, which makes it an interesting watch. And if you are someone that's close with family, has a father who, once in a while you guys can bump heads, this is a good movie to relate to, I think, for anybody. Finally, my number 1 movie from Steven Spielberg is Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park. I'm usually a sequel guy, but there are movies where I'll say, okay, the first one was better on this one, and Jurassic Park has to be that. There has been no Jurassic Park sequel that has come close. Maybe Lost World, but other than that, I love the original Jurassic Park. I just saw it again back in December. With an audience full of people, where they played the music, the orchestra music, live on stage. And with an audience, every time I've seen that movie with an audience, I've seen it twice with an audience already, because I saw it when it was re-released in theaters in 3D before Jurassic World came out. The audience always has fun with it, and is always, if you have that chance to watch it with an audience, go check it out. You'll have a blast. People know the right lines to laugh at, the right jokes to laugh at. There are great moments. People cheer, etc. It's such a great movie, and it's amazing how the special effects in the film have not dated at all. I would say that for the Lost World, Jurassic Park as well. I don't think the special effects in that one have dated either. and obviously mixed with the mechanical aspects of the dinosaurs as well, where they use the mechanics to make lifelike dinosaurs. I think the blend of both of those are amazing, and the cast in this movie is great too. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Richard Attenborough, and of course Jeff Goldblum. You can't get any better than this. This is the masterpiece. This is the pinnacle of Steven Spielberg for me, and to me, he hasn't topped it since. That's my opinion. It's the movie I have the most fun with watching, and the one that I've probably watched the most. I've seen all of these movies quite a lot. Maybe Saving Private Ryan I've seen the least bit. Jurassic Park is definitely up there as one of the most watched movies of his that I've seen, and I love it. And so there we go, guys. That was my top 10 Steven Spielberg movies. I hope you guys leave your comments below. Tell me what you thought of this list. Tell me your list also. Don't be afraid, as I said earlier. And like this video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, everybody, take care.